Okay, welcome back to our Creating a 12 Bar Blues series. What we're going to do now is add the final part of our composition. And this is the part where you get to be a little more creative, where you get to do your own thing. Because so far we've followed a set template. We've just created something by copying what I've been doing. Now you get to add your own individuality to it by creating a melody. So what you're going to do to create that melody is use this, the C major blues scale that you can see is laid out in front of you there. So you've got C, D, E flat, E, G, A and C going on. So they are the notes we're going to use to create our 12 bar blues improvisation. So the beautiful thing about the blues is if you use those notes, they will always fit underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is add a new track, software instrument, and we want it to stand out from anything else, so we're going to go orchestral, we're going to go woodwinds, and we're going to add our saxophone. So we have all those notes available to us. Now you could literally record a one note improvisation. So if I decide to take the note of C up here, so the octave up by pressing K on my music typing, I'm going to do a one note improvisation. The key to your improvisation is it has to be in time with the music and it has to fit the groove of the music, and using the notes I just show you. So here is a simple one note improvisation and anybody could do this. So one note and I've managed to improvise a melody underneath what is going on there over the top. Notice how it's in time with the music, it's got a lot of repetition in there. It's not the most interesting thing in the world, but if we listen back to it, it definitely works. Now that's not very interesting, so we're going to scrub it. Let's just change the colour of this track as well while we're at it so it stands out from everything else. We're going to make that purple. So not the most interesting in the world. We want to make it more interesting, so we're going to use all the notes available to us to make it more interesting. Now I'm going to record this all in. I'm just going to improvise it. I'm going to do it all in one 12 bar progression, but you could break it down and do it chord by chord. So for example, if you're not that confident on the keyboard, you don't have to record it all in one go. I'll just show you how you could do it by just recording under the first section of the piece. And then you could stop it there, move this on slightly, and then record a new phrase underneath there. I'm not going to do that for the sake of time. I am just going to record everything in under the progression, but you do not have to do that. You can do it bar by bar, section by section. So here we go. Now, not the greatest work I've ever produced, but it will work, it will fit underneath, and for the sake of time I'm not going to go back and revisit it. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new improvisation under the next 12 bars of work. So all we're going to do is take these, the drums, the organ, the bass and the piano. We're going to take those, we're going to highlight them all, press Command C, then we're going to paste them in like so. But I've not put the saxophone in, don't need the saxophone there because I'm going to do a new improvisation that changes from my first improvisation and hopefully sounds a little better this time round. Okay, there you go. Now, I'd obviously go back, revisit this, I'd play around with some ideas, find something I really like, but you don't want to sit here and watch me do that. So let's, for the sake of argument, say I've absolutely nailed the solo. I've got a really, really good solo done, and I'm happy with my project. I have 48 bars of blues there, which is what we're going to be aiming for overall. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could expand this further. You could play around by having sections without the saxophone. You could play around with layering the music, the instruments, and finishing the composition that way. The last thing we're going to do quickly is just balance all the sound. So this is important. So to balance sound, we drop everything down to 0, like so. So I've pulled all my faders there down to 0. We keep an eye on this fader here. We do not want to see any red in the master volume up here. If we get red, that's a problem, and we're just bringing things in so we can hear every instrument clearly. So I'm just going to loop the first 12 bars of my composition and do it from there. So when I start playing, there's no instruments playing, and then you'll see me just balance all the sound so that everything is clear, you can hear everything. So currently that sounds a little quiet to you. If we look up here, we can see it's getting nowhere near getting in the yellow up here, which is what we really want. But that's fine, because what we've done there is we've left ourselves some headroom to make it sound better as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push my organ here. I'm going to use the pan function to push my organ to the left, my piano slightly to the right, just to open up space in the mix, and then I'll push my my saxophone, quite far over to the right. What this is open up space in the mix so you can hear all the instruments more clearly and they're not just sat on front at top of each other. Okay, then we just need to do a quick EQ on everything. So to EQ things, we're just going to use the presets. So you go to your drum kit, you hit here, you get this panel up down the bottom, which you've got controls and you've got EQ. We're EQing this. We're just going to use presets. So settings, here you have the drum preset, and we are just going to go for let's have a go at giving it, what sound bluesy? Vintage drums, perfect. Okay, vintage drums on there. We're going to go down to the organ. Again, we're EQing the organ, just using the presets. We're going to go keyboards, and let's go here, and we'll just throw an organ EQ on there. We're going to go to upright bass. So here we go, guitar, and we want upright bass standard EQ, perfect for what we've used. That will be ideal. We're going to go to piano. again, keyboards, and let's just choose one of the piano ones. We'll just go for the standard piano EQ there. And finally, we have our saxophone. So if we go to horns here, perfect. We want, oh, I don't know which sax I've used there is the only thing. I think it's a tenor sax, but I can't be 100% sure, but I will throw the tenor sax setting on there. So what the EQ does is it just opens up space in the stereo field, so all your instruments have room in the stereo field. No need to go into too much detail, it'll just make your mix down sound better. Then we hit master. On our master settings, we want to EQ the master, so we pull this down, we go to mastering, and we'll throw on a rock master for that. Rock and blues are very similar, so that's fine. Then we want to hit up our output, so we've got our channel EQ on, and we're just going to add some compression. The compression simply makes your song, it lifts up the low volume, pushes down the high volume, puts them closer together, compresses them together, and it just means our song can be louder. So if we listen to it without the compressor on, and now we're going to throw that compressor on, we're just going to click on here. I'm going to go to the presets again, I'm going to go to compressor tools, and I'm going to go to my go-to, which is the Platinum analog tape, and hopefully you can see, if you look up here, we're hitting the yellow a little bit, so it's made that louder for us. I can probably have gain up here, here is your volume. I can probably push the gain a little as well to get some more volume out of it. So up here is now where you want to be looking to make sure you're going into the yellow up here, but not into the red. So you can see that's hitting the yellow, so that is absolutely perfect. I should have been saving this file a lot more than I have been, so do make sure you back up your saves, that's always a good habit to get into. Then you're literally going to go to share, export song to disk, 12-bar blues. I suggest just exporting that to your desktop as an MP3, and that is the file. If you're uploading this for work, you can upload that. If you're submitting it to Spotify or somewhere like that, again, you can do it with the MP3. The MP3 will be fine. You can do it as a higher quality AAC file, but MP3 is what we're going to do for the sake of what we are doing. You simply hit export. And the whole thing should have exported to my desktop. So let's just have a look at the desktop. There you go, 12-bar blues, MP3. And the whole thing is there. One thing I would say that I should have done really when I'm exporting to PlayIt Safe is get your loop function, set your loop function for just over there, what would that be, 26 bars, and then you've got this little, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do, don't know if I can get it, oh, I can't get hold of it from here, there you go, and you just take this little thing here and drag it in, just so you don't have a load of dead space at the end of your recording. And again, you just go share, export song to disk. So that is how to do a 12-bar blues from scratch. And obviously then double that up to 24 bars of music with your own improvisation over the top. So hopefully that was enjoyable. Hopefully that is an exercise you can get on with and create your own 12-bar blues. So there you go.